All right, let's get into one of the most important and, yeah, controversial books on education ever written, Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Now, this isn't just a book about how to teach. It's really a revolutionary guide for understanding power, freedom, and what it even means to be human. And this quote, right from the foreword, just cuts straight to the chase. This is Freire's whole argument in a nutshell. He says that education is never neutral. It either works to get people to fit into the system as it is, to domesticate them, or it becomes a tool for liberation, a tool for what he calls the practice of freedom. For Freire, there's just no middle ground.
I mean, since it came out, the book has sold way over 750,000 copies, but its real impact is so much bigger than that. In some countries, just being caught with this book could land you in prison. So you have to ask, why? What's so dangerous about these ideas? Well, they were seen as a direct threat to the way things were.
So what is it about this book that got it into so much trouble? Well, Freire kicks things off by framing the big problem of humanity as this constant struggle, a struggle between humanization and dehumanization. It's his fight to become more fully human in a world that, let's be honest, often pushes back against that very idea.
Freire argues that the system of oppression creates this state of dehumanization. But here's the crucial part. It doesn't just hurt the oppressed. He says it's a distortion that damages everyone involved. The oppressors, by robbing others of their humanity, actually lose their own in the process.
And this leads to what is probably Freire's most radical and challenging idea. He says the job of liberation has to be led by the oppressed. But, and this is a huge but, the goal isn't just to flip the script and become the new oppressors. No, the real goal is to restore the humanity of both groups. It's about building a world where everyone can be fully human. Okay, so how does an oppressive system keep going? Freire points his finger squarely at traditional education, and he gives it this brilliant, unforgettable name, the banking concept of education.
Just picture it. The student is like an empty piggy bank, and the teacher's job is to make deposits of information into their head. The teacher talks, the students listen, the teacher knows everything, the students know nothing. Freire calls this narration sickness. Knowledge isn't something you build together, it's just a gift passed down from the all-knowing teacher to the ignorant student. It basically turns students into passive collectors of random facts.
And this table just lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at the dynamic. The teacher is the one who teaches, who knows, who thinks, who acts. The students, they're just taught, they know nothing, they're thought about, and they listen quietly. This system is a perfect mirror of an oppressive society. It actively discourages you from thinking critically and just encourages you to adapt to the world instead of questioning it or trying to change it.
So if banking education is the disease, what's the cure? Freire proposes a totally different approach. He calls it problem-posing education. And this is the model that he says leads to liberation.
Let's put them side by side because the difference is just night and day. Instead of the teacher making deposits, you have the teacher and students investigating the world together. Instead of students being passive objects, they become active, critical thinkers. But the key, the real game changer, is that problem-posing education gets rid of that top-down teacher-student relationship. It flattens the hierarchy.
And here it is. This is the new relationship. It's dynamic, it's a partnership. The teacher learns from the students, and the students teach the teacher. They become what Freire calls the teacher-student and the students' teachers. Everybody is part of the same act of learning, and everybody grows together.
Now, the whole point of this new kind of education is to achieve something Freire called conscientization. It's a big word, I know, but the idea is powerful. It's about developing a critical awareness, learning to really see the contradictions socially, politically, economically in your own life. It's that light bulb moment when you stop seeing your situation as just the way things are and start seeing it as a problem you can actually do something about.
So how do we get to that critical awareness? For Freire, the answer is crystal clear. The only way forward is through authentic dialogue. But you have to understand, when he says dialogue, he means something very specific and very powerful.
He says that a true word, which is the core of dialogue, has two parts that you can never separate: reflection and action. Think about it. Reflection without action? That's just talking. It's empty. And action without reflection? That's just mindless activism that goes nowhere. But when you put them together, you get what he calls praxis, the real power to understand and change the world.
This is why, for Freire, real dialogue isn't just a simple technique you use in a classroom. It's a deep, ethical commitment. It demands love for the world, the humility to know you can learn from anyone, a real faith in people's ability to create, hope for a better future, and a critical mind that refuses to accept the world as fixed.
So these two opposite ways of teaching, the banking model versus the problem-posing model, they don't just stay in school. They lead to two totally different ways of acting in the world. Freire calls these two theories of cultural action. And this table just spells it out perfectly. On one side, you have the tools of oppression, conquest, dividing people against each other, manipulation, and what he calls cultural invasion, making people feel like their own culture is worthless. And on the other side, the tools of liberation, cooperation, unity, real organization, and cultural synthesis, where different cultures come together and create something new as equals.
And so, we've come full circle, right back to where we started. Freire's core message is that every one of us, every teacher, every student, every citizen, is faced with this choice. Are we going to participate in a system that just gets people to conform? Or are we going to engage in the practice of freedom, the critical, creative, and hopeful work of actually changing our world for the better?
You know, for all of its tough criticism of oppression, this is a deeply, deeply hopeful book. It's all driven by Freire's own powerful faith in people and our ability to overcome injustice and, as he puts it so beautifully, to create a world in which it will be easier to love.
And that leaves us with a real challenge. Freire's book isn't some dusty old academic text. It's a mirror. It's asking us to look around at our schools, our jobs, our communities, even at ourselves. Where are we being treated like empty piggy banks? And maybe more importantly, where is the next opportunity for us to start a real dialogue, to become co-creators of our own story, and to practice freedom?